Good morning, dear friends. Before the world stirs fully awake, take a slow breath and allow your soul to rise before your body does. This is the hour when the air is gentle and the spirit moves quietly, whispering courage into hearts that long to begin again. Today is not just another morning, it is an invitation, a call to faith that stands firm, to love that remains steady, to courage that holds when comfort fades. The sun is not yet high, yet already its light begins to unveil the hidden corners of the earth, much like faith reveals what fear conceals. Every dawn carries a question from God to his people, the same question Jesus asked his disciples long ago. Who do you say that I am? It is not a question for scholars, but for the heart. A question that asks for more than words, that calls for conviction when belief is tested by life's uncertainties. Peter's answer still echoes through time. You are the Christ, the Son of the living God. It was not eloquence that moved Jesus to bless him. It was the simplicity of truth spoken from the depths of faith. In that moment, Peter became more than a follower. He became a rock, not a flawless one, but a steadfast one. His courage did not mean the absence of fear, but the willingness to stand in truth despite it. Each of us is called to that same courage. Faith without courage is like light hidden under a basket. It shines nowhere and warms no one. But when faith joins courage, it becomes a fire that guides others through darkness. Today, before the weight of tasks and the noise of the world press in, we ask for that courage, not the kind that conquers mountains alone, but the quiet strength that holds firm when the ground beneath us trembles. This morning, the gospel invites us to see ourselves in Peter's journey. He was not born courageous. He became courageous through love. His boldness was not pride, but trust. Trust that even when he faltered, Jesus would lift him again. True courage is not the absence of failure. It is the refusal to stop following after you've fallen. Saint Leo the Great understood this well. As the church faced turmoil and invasion, he stood with calm authority, rooted in faith that no empire could shake. He spoke truth with gentleness and defended peace with firmness. His courage was not loud, it was luminous. It came from knowing that Christ himself is both strength and peace. We live in times that call for the same kind of courage, not to fight with anger, but to stand in truth with charity. It is easy to remain silent when conviction brings discomfort. It is tempting to blend in when faith sets us apart. Yet Christ still asks, "Who do you say that I am?" and waits for our answer. Not once, but every day in every choice. Perhaps courage for you today means forgiveness, choosing love when pride whispers otherwise, or perhaps it means perseverance, continuing to trust when prayers seem unanswered. Courage can be as simple as speaking kindness when others choose bitterness, or standing for what is good when compromise looks easier. Every act of faith, no matter how small, builds the rock upon which grace rests. The heart that prays for courage must also pray for humility. Peter's courage began in faith, but was perfected in surrender. When he denied Christ, his tears were not of defeat, but of awakening. He discovered that courage born of pride crumbles, but courage born of grace endures. And in that awakening, he became the leader God intended him to be, one who strengthens others, not through power, but through compassion. As morning light continues to spread, imagine the warmth of the sun as the touch of God upon your spirit. Every ray is a reminder that faith is not theory, but relationship, the living exchange between your weakness and his strength. When you open your heart to him at the start of the day, you allow his courage to take root in you. The trials that await are no longer threats. They become opportunities to witness love in action. You may not face invading armies as St. Leo did, but you will face distractions, doubts, and quiet temptations that seek to wear your spirit down. These are the subtle battles of every believer, the conflicts that happen within the soul. In each of them, faith must lead to courage, and courage must rest in peace. So as you begin this new day, say within yourself, "Lord, let my heart be steady in your truth. Let me be the rock that does not move with every wave of emotion. Let my courage rise from love, not fear." The day will bring both light and shadow, both comfort and challenge. But within each moment, grace will offer its strength. A strength that whispers instead of shouts, that sustains instead of conquers. And when the world's noise grows loud, remember Peter on that shore with Christ. Remember the question, the confession, the blessing. Remember St. Leo standing unshaken amid chaos. And remember that the same Spirit who strengthened them is the Spirit who lives in you now. This morning as prayer begins, lift not only your needs but your resolve. Let the rhythm of faith carry you forward. One breath, one step, one act of courage at a time. The God who called you here will not abandon you. He does not send you into the day alone. He walks with you, whispering strength into your weakness, peace into your uncertainty, and courage into your heart. As the morning unfolds, the world begins to stir. The stillness that once wrapped the dawn gives way to movement. Footsteps, voices, the hum of life returning. Yet within that quiet shift, a sacred truth remains. Courage is not found in the noise, but in the steady rhythm of a heart that listens for God. The day does not ask for perfection, it asks for faith that endures. Courage, in its truest form, does not shout. It does not demand to be seen or celebrated. It lives quietly in the soul that refuses to waver when life feels uncertain. It is born in the small hidden places, in the choice to love again after disappointment, to hope again after delay, to trust again after fear has whispered its lies. These moments unseen by the world are the true altars where courage is born. Faith, when tested, is never wasted. Peter's confession of Christ did not end at his words. It was refined through trial. When he faltered in fear, when the rooster crowed and his strength gave way to weakness, grace did not abandon him. Instead, it found him weeping. And in that sorrow, courage began again. Not the courage of pride, but the courage of one who has been forgiven. That is the kind of strength that endures, the kind that cannot be broken by failure. You see, faith is not proven when life is easy. It is revealed when nothing makes sense. It is when prayers seem unanswered, when doors stay closed, when you are misunderstood or forgotten, that God invites you to trust deeper than before. Each disappointment becomes a doorway to grace, if only you will walk through it. The courage to keep believing, even in silence, is the kind that builds eternity within the heart. Think of Saint Leo the Great, standing before emperors, leading the church through wars and heresies, yet never losing peace. His courage was not the product of worldly strength, but of prayer. It was shaped in hours of surrender before the altar, in moments of humility when he placed everything back into God's hands. The courage of a saint is born from the courage of a soul that kneels. And so today, as you go about your work, let that same spirit guide you. Let courage take the shape of patience when others are restless. Let it appear as gentleness when anger seems easier. Let it sound like silence when gossip tempts your lips. This is the kind of courage that transforms the world, not through might, but through mercy. It is easy to imagine courage as something grand, but most days it looks like faithfulness. It's waking up to another ordinary morning and choosing to begin again, even when yesterday's effort seemed unseen. It's offering kindness when it goes unnoticed, serving without applause, praying when no one thanks you for it. These small acts of perseverance build spiritual strength, the quiet heroism that heaven treasures. Every trial, every test is an invitation to rely not on your strength, but on His. And when you do, you find that God's grace is never late. It comes not always as rescue, but as renewal, the steadying of the heart that says, I will not fear, for the Lord is near. Faith may not remove the storm, but it gives you peace within it. Perhaps you've felt that storm recently, the pressure of responsibilities, the weight of uncertainty, the ache of unanswered prayers. You are not alone in that place. Even Peter once sank beneath the waves before learning to walk on them. Even saints have known the silence of waiting. What set them apart was not that they never doubted, but that they never stopped turning back toward God. To be courageous is to keep choosing trust even when fear tries to speak louder. It is to let truth guide you when the world demands compromise. It is to remember that God's word, not your worry, is the rock upon which you stand. Every time you return to that truth, you grow stronger. Every time you speak His name instead of your fear, the storm loses its hold. Faith is not meant to be comfortable. It is meant to be transformative. And transformation rarely happens in ease. Just as gold is refined by fire, so too the soul is refined by trial. God allows the test not to break you, but to reveal what cannot be broken. You are His creation, shaped in His image, capable of courage beyond your imagination. Not by your own will, but by the Spirit that lives within you. There will be moments when you feel small, when the weight of the world presses hard, when discouragement whispers that your prayers have no power. In those moments, remember that even the smallest act of faith shakes eternity. A single whispered prayer, a single act of forgiveness, a single yes to God in the middle of fear. Each one moves heaven closer to earth. Peter's declaration, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God," was not just a statement of belief, it was a surrender of identity. It meant that everything else, every opinion, every fear, every plan, would now be shaped by that truth. To say that Jesus is the Christ is to allow Him to define who you are and who you will become. It is to let Him be the cornerstone when everything else crumbles. And when you build your life upon that rock, you find stability even in the shifting seasons. Courage begins to look less like strength and more like peace. It becomes the quiet confidence that says, even if the world misunderstands me, I will stand in love. It becomes the voice that prays for enemies instead of condemning them, that hopes in silence instead of demanding proof. True courage is never reckless. It is gentle, humble, and steady. It's the courage of Mary at the foot of the cross, the courage of Joseph who trusted God's word in silence, the courage of saints who lived unseen but changed the world by faith alone. And today, that same courage is offered to you. So as the sun climbs higher and your day unfolds in its rhythm of noise and quiet, work and rest, prayer and pause, remember that God is near. Every heartbeat is a reminder that you are sustained by grace. Every breath is proof that His Spirit is still moving through you, calling you to live this day not in fear, but in holy confidence. Say to yourself as the day continues, Lord, I believe you are who you say you are. Give me the courage to live like it. And let that prayer be your anchor. Steady, simple, unshakable. For courage is not found in the absence of weakness, it is found in the presence of faith. As the day stretches onward, the warmth of morning deepens into the fullness of light, and yet the heart still hungers for stillness. That sacred quiet where the voice of God can be heard above the hum of life. It is here in the ordinary rhythm of work and weariness that courage finds its truest form. For courage is not only needed in moments of danger, it is most vital in moments of repetition, when the soul is tempted to drift, when faith begins to fade into habit. There are days when you wake with purpose, and days when the very act of rising feels heavy. Yet even then, God is near. The courage He calls you to is not always the strength to do more, but the grace to remain faithful. Sometimes it is courage simply to pray again after feeling unheard, to love again after being wounded, to begin again when the heart is weary. Each act of endurance becomes a quiet yes to the Lord, who never stops believing in you. The apostles learned this in the long days that followed Christ's ascension. Their teacher was gone from sight, yet His Spirit remained, a whisper of fire within their souls. They were mocked, misunderstood, and persecuted, but their faith did not waver. Why? Because they had learned that courage grows in communion, not isolation. Together they prayed, together they shared bread, together they stood firm. No one carried the flame alone, and that same truth holds today. You were never meant to face the world's storms on your own. The strength of faith multiplies when it is shared. When you pray for another, when you speak a kind word, when you bear someone's burden silently in love, you are building the same communion that sustained the first disciples. Courage that lives in isolation fades. Courage that loves multiplies. Saint Leo understood this profoundly. He did not defend the faith with pride, but with unity. When the church trembled under the weight of fear, he reminded them that truth cannot be divided. His words were not weapons, but light, guiding hearts back to what was essential. Christ himself, the cornerstone of peace. And so his courage was not born of stubbornness, but of love. Love for God's people. Love for the truth that sets the soul free. We, too, must learn to let love shape our courage. It is easy to be bold when defending ourselves, but true strength is revealed when defending what is right, even when it costs us comfort. The world may not applaud humility, but heaven sees it as power. To respond with patience when provoked, to remain faithful when overlooked, to forgive when wronged. These are not signs of weakness, but reflections of divine strength. Sometimes the bravest act is to remain silent when you want to argue. Sometimes it is to extend mercy when you crave justice. And sometimes it is to keep standing in hope when everything seems to fall apart. The courage of faith is not loud or defiant. It is still and enduring, like the cross itself, a place of surrender that becomes victory. As the hours pass, you may notice how easily the world pulls your attention away from what matters. Distractions come dressed as necessities. Noise disguises itself as meaning, but beneath all of it, God's voice remains, patient, steady, calling you back to what is eternal. Each moment offers a choice to react or to rest, to fear or to trust, to control or to surrender. And every time you choose peace over panic, love over resentment, faith over doubt, you participate in God's quiet miracle, the transformation of the heart. Do not underestimate what happens in these hidden victories. Heaven celebrates what the world overlooks, the courage it takes to pray in your weakness, to love through your pain, to forgive what seems unforgivable. These are the unseen triumphs that echo through eternity. You may not feel the light you bring, but others do. Someone's faith is strengthened because you chose to believe. Someone's hope is restored because you refuse to give up. The ripples of one soul's courage reach farther than the eye can see. Even the saints had their moments of weariness. Saint Leo, though strong, surely felt the weight of responsibility. Peter, though bold, once sank in the waves of fear. Mary, though full of grace, stood in silence before the cross, her heart pierced yet steadfast. Their strength came not from their own resolve, but from their trust in God's promise that every act of surrender is met by divine mercy. So if today your heart feels weak, know this: courage does not always roar. Sometimes it whispers, "I will try again tomorrow." Sometimes it breathes through tears, "God, I still trust you." That is the courage that heaven treasures, the faith that endures even when the heart trembles. Let your prayer today be simple. Lord, keep me faithful, keep me gentle, keep me courageous. Ask for courage not to conquer the world, but to love it as Christ does, tenderly, patiently, faithfully. For love is the highest courage of all. When evening begins to descend and the light softens, remember that courage is not found in great victories, but in daily perseverance. It is found in the mother who keeps praying for her child, in the worker who serves with integrity unseen, in the believer who continues to hope when life feels uncertain. These are the quiet heroes of faith, the living stones of the church. In this stillness, take a deep breath and look at your day. Where did you show courage without realizing it? Where did you choose patience over pride, faith over fear? These are not small things. They are sacred offerings, and God receives them with joy. The same Christ who called Peter the rock still calls you by name. He does not ask for perfection, only your willingness to believe that His strength is greater than your weakness. And if you fall, He will lift you again. The path of courage is not a straight road, but a journey of trust that winds through both trial and triumph. As night draws near, you may feel tired, perhaps even uncertain about tomorrow. But take heart. The sun that sets tonight will rise again. The same God who guided Peter, who strengthened Leo, who comforted Mary, now watches over you. His mercy is the river that never runs dry. His peace, the light that never fades. And when you lay down your worries at His feet, you will find rest. Not because the world is perfect, but because you have chosen to trust the one who is. Night falls softly, and with it comes a holy quiet, that tender hour when the world begins to rest and the soul turns inward to listen. The day has offered its share of joys and struggles, its glimpses of grace and its reminders of fragility. And now, beneath the gentle breath of twilight, the invitation returns once more, to be still, to remember, and to trust. It is in these quiet hours that courage reveals its truest nature. By day, it may look like faith in action, the steady steps of perseverance, the silent labor of love. But by night, courage is prayer. It is the humble admission that you cannot do this alone, followed by the calm surrender that says, "But I am not alone." In that surrender lies the strength the world cannot give, the strength that flows from God's own heart into yours. If the morning asked for faith and the day asked for steadfastness, then the night asked for peace. Not the peace that depends on circumstances, but the peace that abides even when circumstances shift. It is a peace born of trust, the fruit of a soul that has learned to rest in the hands of its Creator. The same hands that shaped the stars now hold you, unseen yet unshakable. Saint Leo the Great once wrote that, "The true glory of the faithful is to rise after every fall." How fitting that such words would echo into this moment, a quiet evening when the soul can reflect on all the times it has stumbled and yet been lifted again. The courage to rise is one of heaven's greatest gifts. Each fall, each failure, each sorrow that did not destroy you has become the soil where resilience blooms. You have walked through uncertainty, yet you are still here. You have prayed through silence and waited through doubt, and still your heart beats with faith. That alone is a miracle. Too often we measure courage by victories we can see, but God measures it by endurance, by the willingness to keep walking in faith when the light seems faint. The angels rejoice over that kind of courage, the courage of one who clings to God's promise through the night. Perhaps this evening your heart carries unanswered prayers or quiet fears. Maybe you are waiting for direction, or healing, or simply for peace to return. Hear this truth. God has not forgotten you. His silence is not absence, but preparation. The river of His mercy is moving even when you cannot see it. In time, it will reach the dry places of your life and bring renewal, just as the prophet Ezekiel saw the waters flow from the temple, turning salt into sweetness, despair into hope. There is a divine rhythm to grace. It does not rush, it restores. It does not demand, it invites. And in that rhythm, courage finds rest. For courage, too, must learn to be still. Even the strongest heart must pause to breathe, to remember that every victory, every step, every moment of faith has always been a response to God's first movement of love. Let this night be such a pause. Allow yourself to rest not in what you have achieved, but in what He has already done. The day has asked enough of you. Now let the Lord fight your battles in the quiet, unseen but certain. You do not need to understand everything. You only need to stay near Him. His peace will do the rest. When Peter once stood before Jesus after the resurrection, burdened by his failures, he did not hear condemnation. He heard a question, "Do you love me?" And upon his answer, Christ restored him. That is the same question that echoes into every night of the soul. Do you love Him enough to trust His plan even when it is hidden? Do you love Him enough to forgive yourself where He already has? Do you love Him enough to rest in the truth that His grace is sufficient even here, even now? If you do, then that love becomes courage. It becomes the calm assurance that no storm can uproot you. It becomes the light that burns even in the valley of shadows. That love will carry you through every trial because it flows from the eternal heart of God, the same heart that never stops beating for you. Look back for a moment at the journey of this day. The morning's invitation to faith, the afternoon's call to endurance, the evening's return to peace. In all of it, God has been forming something within you, a heart that stands firm in truth, a soul that trusts even when it trembles, a courage that grows not from pride but from presence. The saints remind us that holiness is not perfection, it is perseverance. It is the simple act of rising each morning to say, "Yes, Lord," and resting each night to say, "Thank you." It is found in moments of humility, in tears turned into prayer, in weakness transformed into surrender. It is there that God does His greatest work, quietly, patiently, faithfully. So as you prepare to rest, let this truth settle deeply. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are right where grace has brought you. Every prayer you've whispered, every effort you've made to remain faithful, every tear you've offered in love, all of it has meaning. None of it is wasted. God is writing a story in you that cannot be undone. Let peace, then, be your closing prayer tonight. Breathe deeply and let go of all you cannot control. Give to God the things that worry you, and let His mercy do what your striving cannot. Trust that the same God who began this day with light will bring the dawn again. And as you drift into rest, remember this. Courage is not something you must create. It is something you must receive. It is the quiet strength of the Spirit whispering, "Do not be afraid, I am with you." Let that promise guide you into sleep and awaken you into hope. When the morning comes again, may you rise renewed, not because the world has changed, but because your heart has. You will walk again in faith, not in fear. You will speak again with love, not with weariness. You will live again with courage, not by your own might, but by the grace that sustains you. And in every moment that follows, in every sunrise and every still night, may your soul remember this truth. Courage is not the roar of power, but the whisper of peace that says, God is here. If this reflection has brought you peace tonight, I invite you to stay connected with this community of faith. Like this video to help others find it. Share it with someone who may need encouragement, and subscribe so we may continue to pray together each day. In the comments below, share what courage means to you, or a moment when God's peace carried you through. Until we meet again in prayer, may God bless you, protect you, and grant you rest in His unfailing love.